I love the fact that we all went to a movie to see Twisters.
Oh my God, let's talk about it. Let's talk.
I am.
That
Currently,
scene
I
is.
am doing that.
I'm just sorry, but I just remembered that happened, and I remember my brain exploding.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
Welcome to Mysteries and Movies. I'm Anthony Pernicka with iHorror.com.
And I'm Dominic Smith, horror filmmaker.
And we are going to talk about Twisters. So let's watch the trailer and then we'll get into it.
Well, bam.
That was the movie theater scene.
The once-in-a-generation tornado outbreak continues across Oklahoma.
We've never seen tornadoes like this before, and we need your help.
No, I don't chase anymore.
Kate, we can save lives.
I'll give you 1 week.
All right, fellas. We got PhDs from NASA, FEMA, and Kate. She's the smartest person I know.
Hey, dudes. This is interesting. Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it!
Scared of nothing and I'm scared to death.
You know, our crew is not like your crew.
I can't breathe and I catch my breath.
We don't need PhDs and fancy tech. Sometimes the old ways are better than the new.
Well, you can always trust a guy who puts his face on a t-shirt. Are those fireworks?
Yes, ma'am. You got quite the reputation, city girl. You think you can disrupt a tornado?
In theory. But in the field, in the moment, I got it wrong. We never had a chance.
You want one?
Are you seeing this?
We got twins! Twins!
They're combining. Go faster.
Let's ride.
I think I only saw the first trailer. I never saw this trailer.
It's all right to be scared.
I feel like the last trailer.
Yeah, because it's showing so much.
You don't face your fears, you ride them.
Holy,
You ever see anything like this?
not like this.
Hold on, hold on, hold on!
Can I say that I'm happy I didn't see this trailer?
Yeah, that showed a lot. Trailers do show a lot these days, don't they?
Yeah,
They kind of start. They're starting to. Because I know you want to get people into the theaters, but they kind of start to ruin it a little bit.
like a lot, not even a little bit, a lot. Like, again, if I had seen this trailer, my review wouldn't be the same that it is about to be.
Yeah, that's how I feel about some movies. So, what is your point of view first?
Every so often you get a movie where I'm like, man, that was a perfect movie. Of course, there's flaws in everything, but just like the enjoyability, the rewatch factor, I would absolutely go back to watch that movie again. Yeah. Kept me on the edge of my seat the entire film. It was paced well, like the talent was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, and not only that, but it did something like after seeing the first trailer, which was very laid out similar to the original movie.
Very much
which
so.
Made me think, okay, I'm just gonna go see the original movie again, just with new people, and just like things tweaked a little bit. But man, they really took it in a different direction, and this trailer unfolds all of that. Like,
it shows more.
Yeah, and I'm happy I didn't see this trailer. I love the movie because it was a surprise for me. It caught me by surprise in so many different elements. Even the opening, the cold opening was big because I thought, based on the original, this was our team for the movie. So that was like the biggest, got you. We are going in like a different direction in some form or fashion right now. And now I can't really anticipate what's going to, and like, are there things that you can anticipate for sure? But like, with the mindset of me thinking I was going to see Twister, that wasn't what happened.
So, okay, so my point of view is I actually loved it also. Twister, the original, like, I just happened to grow up in a certain time where, like...
1900s.
Yeah.
Just say it.
I grew up in the 1900s, people. Like, that was kind of like my comfort movie. I know it's weird, a disaster movie, your comfort movie, but, like, just the original with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, just, like, the soundtrack, the look of it, the feel of it, the pace of it. It's just everything about the original I loved. So it was always just one that I would just put on just to watch. Kind of like The Addams Family or Scream. Like, those are just my go-to, just like The Craft.
Rewatch factor.
Exactly. So Twister was always one of those for me. So when I saw the original trailer, so much of it was the same that I was like, oh, like, I want you to be good so bad, but I'm afraid that it's just going to be a ripoff.
Yeah.
But thankfully, when I actually watched the movie, it was that, but they were able to elevate it to another level that took it from just like a straight ripoff of the original to like, okay, this is a really good quality film that lives in this Twister world. Because when I watched the sequel, there was no doubt that this is the same world.
Yeah.
Like, the vibe, the feel, the shots, the way they framed the shots, the way, like, just the cuts, it felt very similar to the original Twister. Whereas if I were to take another, like, movie, like The Craft... Okay, and then when they remade The Craft, I kind of wanted something like that. I wanted to feel like we were in that same world of, like, high school teenage gothic angst.
Yeah.
And like going towards like witchcraft and stuff like that. That's not what we got with that. We got like some Claire's like teenage version of that movie. That I was happy they did not do that with this.
Yeah.
This was very much authentic to the original. So much so that like the beats were almost verbatim the same in so many. Like even the beginning, you have that like Twister in the beginning. But going to, like, even the meetup at the gas station, I mean, that was definitely back to the original. And even after the meeting, when they go on the road and, like, they go left, we go right, totally, like, the original movie. But what I loved about this one is they changed it to where the main actress, Stacey Edgar Jones, she was more of like an amalgamation of both Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Because there were scenes when she was at the gas station and like she went up and looked at the clouds and took like the dandelion and saw where it was blowing. And that's exactly what Bill Paxton's character did in the original. Same with, she did many similarities with Helen Hunt as far as being like the scientist and wanting to do something to like save humanity with her work.
Yeah.
So she was kind of like both those characters. I never took the other guy as like the Bill Paxton character. I just saw Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton was Daisy.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of the familiar. What brought me back to the original was the reporter. You know, he was like the geeky kind of reporter that was scared growing up. Yeah, he was basically the same character from the original that was gonna be the wife of Bill Paxton that wanted Helen Hunt to sign the divorce papers.
Yeah.
She was kind of like the lawyer girl, prim and proper, and like scared by everything that was happening around her. So that was that character. Like, I liked how there was strings to the original, but there was enough modernization. I love the whole like YouTube factor because it's absolutely what would happen today. Probably is. I'm just not a part of that world.
Yeah.
It's probably going on. They changed the story enough to where like the antagonist in the original movie, if I'm remembering correctly, he was just kind of like the enemy throughout.
Yeah.
And on this one, the antagonist ended up being like the good guy. Like they teamed up. And I don't know,
What's funny is not even
felt better.
Yeah, the antagonist was a side character. It was just the dude who worked for her friend's company. They played us in a way to set up as if this is going to be our antagonist. And what's funny is at every point where they were like, when they first introduced him and like he has the moment in the field with the fireworks and all of that, I was like, that's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
that is kind of cool. Like, and not only that, but like as we're getting into the story, I was like, this is strange. Like, why are they so against each other? They aren't even out for the same things.
Yeah.
Before we get like the unfold of the story, I was just like, this isn't really making sense to me. And not only that, but like this guy is becoming more likable as I see these people. Like even the introduction with them where they're just like, yeah, like we didn't go to school for this or anything, you know, like we just feel the weather. He's the only, you know, all of that. I was just like, man, I like these people though. Like they
felt
just
real. Like
yeah.
I see like me and a group of friends like out there doing it. One guy has like a couple like college credits for it, you know, and then we just like go out and do a YouTube. Like it felt authentic and it was an elevation of the story.
Yeah.
Which is what I wanted, and it delivered. And I was super afraid it wasn't going to. And I think it's evident that like this isn't just our opinion, it's everybody's opinion because it is cleaning up at the box office. I did not see it going this high. I thought it was going to do well.
Yeah.
But it's the last I saw, it was around 80 million the
Man.
opening weekend. They said it's maybe like a couple million under what Oppenheimer did.
I'm so happy to see it.
And it's the number one disaster movie release ever in history.
Yeah.
So they did something right. And without, I mean, this isn't, what I like about this one, we could talk about it and there's no spoilers really because, it's Twisters. There's Twisters.
Yeah.
You know? But like what I loved about it, like the theater scene, like I love the fact that we all went to a movie to see Twisters.
That, oh my God, let's talk about it. Let's talk.
I am.
That
Currently,
scene
I
is,
am doing that.
I'm just sorry, but I just remembered that happened and I remember my brain exploding.
I loved
at
it.
just how they shot it, like the feeling of it.
Yeah,
like,
right?
oh my God, like when can I say it? Can I just?
Let me finish.
Sorry.
No, it was good because we're there in the theater watching Twisters, and in this movie, there's this theater scene of them hiding out, and then the screen like whoosh, whips away, and they're watching Twisters. So it's so meta because we're watching Twisters
genius.
of people in a theater actually watching Twisters. Come on.
It was genius. It was
Come on.
it was
That's
so
the
genius.
stuff I love.
If you go see this movie in theaters, go see it in, what is it
Dolby,
called? Yeah,
IMAX?
in Dolby. And absolutely go see it in Dolby. You have to feel the sound of this.
Yeah.
Now, can I talk about the few things I didn't like about it?
No. I just
What's funny is like mine are like ridiculous. Like the biggest one for me was the character Tyler. Was that his name?
Which one? I haven't seen that
our
much.
lead
You know,
male.
the one that shot the fireworks up in the air.
Yeah,
Glenn Powell, I think is the actor's name.
I remember when he first came on screen, I was like, he's just ridiculously handsome. Like just excessively handsome and like he was flawless most of the movie. Our lead character, the woman, like, she's drenched in dirt. And, like, even when she comes up to the car when he's trying to leave, she's in the rain, like, mascara running. And he's flawless with the cowboy hat on, no hair out of place. Like, he's just a very beautiful man at most points of the film. And I'm just like, can we muddy him up? Can we, like...
No, I respect that. I respect that decision. He's, like, this, like... pretty persona YouTube guy, and she's like the dirty scientist. She doesn't care about image. She's getting in there. She's getting dirty.
But that's what I mean is like they present his character as if he is also the thrill seeker, the guy who ain't afraid to get his hands dirty, like the dude who just like is in the mud, but he's never really in the mud. He's always shielded with his truck. Like until the end, this man is just like flawless. For like he was our ingenue.
And I was here for it.
I knew you would be. I knew you would.
I thought it was great. I thought everything about it was great. I'll definitely watch it again. If you are a fan of the original Twister, maybe in the beginning you might be taken aback by some of the beats being so similar. And that worried me a little bit because I was like, this is a little too close. It's almost like frame for frame what they were doing. But they managed to just tweak it enough to be original, to be like, okay, we live in your universe, but it's a slightly different story. And it fucking worked. And it worked so much that it's the #1 disaster movie ever.
You know what I also respect is that, and I think that's the thing that helps with this story, is we also grew up in a time where things were pretty much black and white. This person's an asshole or they're not an asshole.
Yeah.
And now we live in this time where we understand everybody is a certain way if you dig into their story deep enough. And like, as we get to like, not only understand our lead, but understand her opposition, now you get a much bigger picture. Like, you really get a bigger idea. And I think there's a lot of storytellers who are really starting to implement that within their films. And the films where it's just cut and dry, good and bad, like,
it's not cutting it anymore.
No, man, it's just not that easy.
The characters have depth to them. So, like, there's her friend that was a good guy. We know he's a good guy. He does things for the betterment, but he's also needing money, and he does these things to get money. And, like, we can understand it.
And that was the thing that they did so good. Like, I told, man, when we were in the film, I was just like, no, like, and that was the thing. I couldn't really dislike anybody except for the partner. Outside of that, even the guy who he worked for, I was like, well, what else do you expect for them to do? I mean, like, they just lost everything.
It was a good plan.
Yeah, I was like, they just lost everything. And there's a person who's like, hey, I could actually, like, help out a little bit and, like, you know, make this plight easier for you. And to me, and I understood her problem as well. But again, they just did so well with making you see it from all of these point of views and really, like, take the story as a whole. Because a lot of stories, they're only showing it from the point of view of one person, and like, they are, you know, they are the hero of their story.
Yeah.
This wasn't just her story. Like, we really got to see a multitude in this film.
Right. I didn't actually think of it that way, but you're completely correct that it definitely showed us, like, the perceptions from different angles. Yeah, I felt like you understand why this person could still be a good person, but yet kind of, like, manipulate or alter their beliefs in a way to conveniently, like, further the advancement of what their ultimate goal is.
Yeah.
And you don't really see them as a bad person for doing that. You don't really agree with it, but you at least understand why they're doing those actions, so you don't hate them.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually, like, a healthy way to think about the world in general. Like, I think you could bring that into the real world and think that, like, there's a lot of people that act in a way that is opposed to how you would live your life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go through the perspective of how they're seeing things, they're rationalizing it in a way to make it make sense with a good heart.
Yeah.
Like, they're not saying, like, I don't think any of these people are thinking, like, I'm just going to be evil today.
Exactly.
You know, like, they're thinking, okay, these people don't have insurance. I'm going to, like, buy their property today.
Yeah.
Even though from the outside looking in, we see that as evil. You're taking advantage of people. But from their point of view, like, I like the nuance.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the nuance. I don't like to be told what's good, what's evil.
Exactly. There's a duality with it, and you are left to make the decision on, like, and exactly like you said, like, I don't like to be told how to feel. Okay, there was one thing that I didn't like about the film, and it was from a technical aspect, and it was maybe just like a preference for myself, but it was the very end of the film, and I'll just say it this way because it's Twisters. It was the very final tornado. So our final tornado of the film, there's a big buildup, and, like, the music is just like, I mean, like, really building up with us. And I wish they would have just left us with the sound of the her and the sound of the tornado. Just really, like, let us rumble with that. And when they didn't do that, I'm like, no. Outside of that, this movie was like 99.99%. That was, for real, that was probably the only thing that I would have tweaked because, again, this is a movie you want to see in theater. This is a movie that you want to see in Dolby, like just like the sound is booming. And and they even really created a solid sound design with the tornadoes as well. So for one, I was like, just for once, I just want to be able to feel it.
God, that would have been the cherry on top of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if there's any fans of iHorror that are studio execs that can release a movie, you need to hit up Dominic Smith. He has good ideas. This guy is gonna make your movie great. Listen to the ideas coming out. Like seriously, that would have been perfect. That would have been the cherry on top of this movie. If we just had that, everything goes silent, but the sound of the beast and maybe the sound of our character, like that would have been
because they even, and that's the, even with her arc through the whole film and just like being able to get back into it, the only other time that they don't use music for the tornado is when she loses her boyfriend at the beginning of the film. That's the one time we get to hear the roaring of the tornado and all of that, and it's like, why not just bring it full circle? Like, why not take us back to that moment? She is now alone, literally going into the belly of the beast.
But it was great, and we recommend it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If it wasn't evident by now.
Definitely watch it. If you can watch it in theaters, recommend it just because just that sound of a tornado, surround sound, it kind of like adds something to it.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying IMAX was just mind-blowing. I didn't watch it in IMAX, but if you have one near you, this is the kind of movie that I think would be kind of fun to watch in IMAX.
Yeah, spend that extra buck.
Yeah. All right. Till next time. Peace.